Hey everybody, Adam here with Hometown Acres. Welcome back. Today's going to be the first real production day with the new Eastonmade EVO firewood processor sitting here behind me. Up until this point, we have just been kind of testing and fine-tuning everything, getting our floor plan and layout exactly how we want it. And I think we've got everything dialed in. So today we're going to go ahead and make some firewood. Now the biggest challenge we have faced so far since we got this machine is the mud. You can see everything is just squishy, soppy. I came down here first thing this morning. It was probably 25 degrees last night and everything was nice and frozen solid. So you can see I got a bunch of logs moved from the pile down there up onto the live deck. And I staged a pile of logs up here as well, because now that they are up here next to the processor, I can just sit in the excavator, grab logs and spin and put them on the live deck and keep the machine fed without actually having to track through this slop. But it was important to get the logs up here while the ground was frozen, because you can see I did minimal damage. I actually probably smoothed things out while the ground was still a little bit frozen. But just in the last hour or so, this has turned to just straight slime down here. And I wouldn't want to be tracking through this right now because I would just make a giant mess. So yeah, we've got plenty of logs sitting here. Let's go ahead and fire up the processor and see how much wood we can make today. So we've got a pretty good looking deck of logs on the EVO here lined up ready to run. And I wasn't sure what this first log is that I put on here. Because, you know, that's one thing I'm struggling with right now is I want to make sure that everything we're running through this is a good sellable hardwood species. I don't want to be putting, you know, sassafras or poplar or anything that's going to be junk firewood on the processor, because it's not worth my time to cut it up if, you know, it's going to cause me grief with customers who complain in the end. But luckily, my good buddy Jake over at Dude Ranch DIY is a certified arborist, and he is my tree ID guy. Anytime I come across a tree that I don't know what it is, if it should be a saw log, if it should be firewood, I usually give him a call and he can always tell me. He said this log here is elm, and he said it's going to be tough for firewood because it's so stringy, and everybody knows that about elm. But I told him, I said, I've got a 30-ton splitter and a 16-way wedge, so I want to see how this elm does on the EVO here, see if it's got enough oomph behind it to push that through the 16-way wedge. this is why yours is better than mine. Because yours has a steeper dump angle and stuff will fall out of it a lot easier. So what I usually end up doing... Yeah, mule! Yeah, mule! All of this would be mixed in with the firewood if it wasn't for that barrel screener. That really kind of completes the whole process. The Eastonmade EVO is great, but the barrel screener makes it even better. So I've got 14 baskets stacked up along this backside here, and then actually another 3 more down there. So I've got 17 total right now. My goal is to get, I want to get like 40, 50, maybe 60 baskets stacked like this for customers that want a basket delivered and put in their garage like this. And then once I get a good inventory of stacked baskets like this, probably what I'll do, because we do have the barrel screener and it sorts out a lot of that scrap, is I will go to just having them loose fall into the baskets again. So all the stacked inventory is going to be in here in the garage, and then the loose thrown baskets will be just for bulk deliveries that I can just dump into the dump trailer, and I'll probably stack those out in the drying yard. So obviously this is our biggest bottleneck right here, is the stacking part of it. I need to either hire somebody to do this part of it so they can stack while I'm making wood, or like I said, just get my inventory of 40 or 50 totes like this done, and then I can just have them loose fall into the baskets and save myself that extra labor of stacking the wood. Because not everybody's going to want a delivered cage like this. Some people are going to want to save some money and just have bulk orders delivered and dumped in their driveway. Now I'm picking out the bigger chunks. When I first put this on, I probably had an 18-inch piece of wood, and so there's a couple in here. I'm setting them off to the side that I need to resplit one more time. But out of that whole basket and what I've stacked so far, and plus what you see in here, this little pile is all that needs resplit. And you only get that when you have the larger diameter rounds that start to max out that 16-way wedge. But other than that, I mean, all this stuff is absolutely perfect. The other nice thing that I don't think we've talked about yet is the positive stop on the Eastonmade EVO. As you look here, everything is exactly the same length. Exactly. So it makes stacking in here easy, and it makes a nice looking product when everything's nice and uniform.
That's the positive stop he's talking about.
I want you to run the EVO. I want you to see what you think. It's impressive. I mean, it's like just effortless. You don't have to fight any of the logs. They just roll right in. Everything splits. I haven't had a jam on it yet. I'm pretty sure you could put the naughtiest, twisted, most crooked piece of wood through that 16-way wedge and it would push it through and you wouldn't have a jam. It's not going to make pretty firewood, but I think it would do it. How many baskets do you have stacked up over your place, Doug? You got like 18 cords, don't you?
I don't think I have that much.
No?
It's 20 some baskets.
That'll be 7 cords. A lot of wood to have for somebody with a pellet stove.
Sure is.
tweeners. These are almost, but if you split that in half, then they're going to be too small. Put them in there. See, this is about the perfect size right there. If you look at these, yeah, right in between. If I split it in half, it'll be smaller than this. Oh well, some people like variety. Get some bigger ones, get some smaller ones. Greasy out here. How'd I do? Is it full? I got that one just inside look there too. They were full. Yeah, so the last load of logs that I did, I ended up putting one on top, and I found it's not worth it to get the extra logs on the live deck. It's better just to do a single row, run them all through, and hop back on the machine to load them again. We ended up having to do a little bit of playing with, and I had to get back in the excavator to pull that one off of the top of the other ones that were set on. Just created some extra hassle. All right, so we just finished stacking that last basket. I got a few more pieces I need to fill this last row here to finish that basket off, but that makes a total of 6 baskets that we got done, and that works out to roughly 2 cords, which might not sound like a lot for a machine like this, but the reason for that is you got to keep in mind, I'm just down here by myself. I started the day, I probably put in, I don't know, 2 or 3 hours by myself, and then Doug stopped over for probably 2 or 3 hours. So maybe a total of 6 hours, or what would that be? 9 man hours, 3 by myself, and then 6 with 3 for me, 3 for Doug. And you know, this machine here, if you're going to be doing any kind of production, you've got to have supporting labor to go along with it. This machine will make a lot more wood if you have the labor to keep up with it. And that's what Doug and I were kind of talking about. How many people would you realistically need to really maximize this thing? And I'm thinking, with the way we're doing things now, probably 3. One person just dedicated down here stacking baskets to keep up with what's coming off of the machine. Then you'd have one person running the Eastonmade EVO, and then you'd have kind of a floater guy bringing empty baskets out of here, getting them put away, and then hopping in the excavator to keep the live deck fed on the EVO. So I think that's, yeah, I think 3 people. I mean, you could use 4 or 5 for sure, but that is something I'm strongly considering, is trying to find somebody part-time, you know, 3 or 4 hours a day or a couple days a week, something like that. to really chew through some wood with this machine. Another thing I learned today is just how much I am using this mini skid from Baumalight. I swear I think the hour meter is broken, because it doesn't seem like it's possible that I would already have 9.4 hours on it. I mean, I say that sarcastically because I'm sure the hour meter is working just fine. It's just you don't realize how much you're using this thing until you have it here. And just moving totes, stacking full baskets, bringing in empty ones, and as you guys saw, putting the tractor bucket on this mini skid. Now, obviously the tractor bucket doesn't lock in because it doesn't have the right mounting holes that the mini skid quick attach does, but you can still pick it up and carry it and come in here and scoop all this stuff up and then take it out of here and take it to where you're going to put it. And then, you know, you can't dump it because it doesn't lock in, but you can get it to where you need to go and then just kind of hand scoop it out for, you know, light material like sawdust. But yeah, man, we are using the heck out of this thing already. One last thing worth talking about is this thing, once you get onto the controls and you can just rip through wood, you kind of have to be careful because the Eastonmade EVO will make wood faster than what the screener can tumble the material and spit it out the other end into the dump trailer. So you have to keep an eye on this and make sure it's not getting too full with wood. That's another slight bottleneck. It's not that bad. You might have to, you know, once this thing gets loaded up, you might have to wait a minute or two for the wood to clear out of here, and then you can get back to work with the EVO here. But that's just something else we noticed, is this thing can get backed up a little bit just because this makes wood so incredibly fast. So we have had the EVO for 1 week exactly, 7 days, and in those 7 days we have made 18 IBC totes of wood stacked, which works out to about 6 cords. Again, might not sound like a lot, but I am just one man down here running the excavator, loading the deck of the EVO, running the EVO, stacking the wood, taking care of all the scrap, keeping everything clean and organized. So you could make 6 cords of wood in 1 day or more if you had a full supporting cast of labor here to do all of the different jobs that need done. Another thing that's been slowing me down, again, as you saw, is the mud down here in the wood yard. As soon as things dry out, that is my #1 priority down here, is to get some roadways put in and some gravel and stone so that we don't have to worry about the mud, because that's the whole point of putting up this building, right? So I can work down here in the snow and in the rain, and the mud is kind of forbidding me a little bit from accomplishing those goals of working down here no matter the weather conditions. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, give me a big thumbs up, click that subscribe button, and we'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching.